2025 Idlewise Board of Commissioners meeting. It's 9 a.m. and the first thing on our agenda is the approval of the agenda. So I'll make a motion that we discuss and approve the agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0 on approving the agenda. Now we go to review of the minutes of the Wednesday the 29th, Thursday the 30th, and Thursday the 31st, which was one continuous meeting as we tried
Pretty
to
much.
interview companies for IT support
Yes.
in non-public sessions. And just arranging that took 3 days.
Uh-huh.
So, I'll make a motion to discuss and approve the 3 sets of minutes that are published on one piece of paper.
Well, I
Second.
wish it was one piece of paper.
Second.
One document, I should say. So it's seconded. I had one thing and then just a general comment.
Okay.
The one thing I have is a typo, one-letter typo, and that's where 91A : wanted to be a 2, and it looks like you hit the shift key and you got, or somehow it got the copyright symbol.
Oh, I
instead of-
know. I tried several times to fix it. I thought I fixed it, but yeah, it's happened to me before.
Yeah, sometimes there's autocorrect with those, though, when you use
It's
symbols.
weird.
You can override it. It's
And it
autocorrect.
keeps doing it. Yeah, I got it.
And then the other thing is keeping track of the non-public sessions of, it was difficult because we continued the public session over the course of 3 days. And the non-public sessions are always voted totally within a public session.
Right.
So it was, I got lost trying to follow it, but that's not a problem. It was just, hopefully we don't do this too often, is
Yeah.
continue a meeting over 3 days trying to talk to one company. But I hope other people don't get lost trying to,
Well, call me.
it's kind of funny, the same rules, same laws that apply to us apply to the House of Representatives in Concord. So a roll call vote and going into non-public, can you imagine 400 people in the House of Representatives are doing the roll call vote, and it's all on an electric board?
Yeah, right.
Well, those same rules apply to us. We have to do a roll call vote, which seems kind of
Time, yeah.
awkward and, but it's because we have to do what 400 people have to do in Concord, I
Yep.
guess. There's other things like that too, is a village district that is formed because for one road where the community, everybody that lives in that road contributes to the snow plowing for the year. Smallest municipality in New Hampshire. They technically have to do an audit with the CPA, just like we do.
Yeah.
Even though they run a checkbook and they write one check a year to a
Wow,
contractor
easy
that plows
audit.
their road. It's like, really?
Nice.
Anyway, so, any other corrections or notes on the minutes?
I didn't have anything.
No.
So, how do you vote on approving them as amended with that one little change?
Yep.
Aye.
Aye.
3-0 on that. Now we go to approval of the manifests at 9:03. And the first one is an operations and payroll manifest for the amount of $13,951.87. I'll make a motion to discuss and approve this manifest.
Second.
Discussion?
Everything looked in line?
Yeah.
I just have one thing. I don't know if I've seen this notation before. There's a paychecks payroll tax payment. And it says split. I imagine, every time I see split, I imagine splitting between the water system and,
It's many different things. Social Security, all that stuff is, and then they, instead of,
so it's a really complex split.
it is.
Okay. And that was for the amount, so that's taxes being paid for
On
a
our
number of
behalf.
years. For $2,584.98. And
For
that
this
includes
payroll.
all the employees and all the elected officials in this.
Yeah,
program,
it's
too.
executive payment too.
Okay. And it's showing the operating account has $334,442 in it. Very good. So, how do you vote on approving this $13,951.87 manifest?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0 on that one. The next one is a water manifest, the Water Assessment Fund, for $4,676.46. I'll make a motion that we discuss and approve this manifest.
Second.
Discussion. Do we have a bill that we've been waiting for? No.
No.
It's February 4th. We're getting to that line where the auditor doesn't let you charge it against the previous fiscal year, which the rule of thumb is 6 weeks into the next year, so. And that's after this next manifest for our water system too, because it's in 2 weeks.
Correct.
We'll wait and see. So, the majority of this is paying the engineer for the Colma water projects are being charged against the warrant article of last year. Any discussion, any comments? How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0 on the water manifest for $4,676.46. So at 9:06, we move to the DBW report. Morning, Jeff.
Hello. Well, first off, here's the flag back. Pass that over. Don't judge us by our folding
Folding?
skills. Steve being the military guy thought maybe he knew what to do, but
Not that small.
yeah,
That's a machine that does that for this package.
Well,
Right, that's-
good try.
that's the one that one came in. I could have made it fit in the other box, the new box, but we figured we'd hold
No,
on to that one.
that's fine. That's difficult to.
One person folding it is difficult. It's done by
Yes.
two
Oh.
in the military. They have to know what they're doing too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to do
Anyway.
funeral honors, and yeah,
Right.
we had to know how to do it. But that was a big flag that had to cover a whole casket.
Right. Tony remembered doing it like in grade school, but that was a long time ago, and like I said, I've never folded one, so we got it in the box. But no, I gotta say, what a difference that new
size of
flag.
the
Have you
flag?
seen that flying?
Yes.
It looks beautiful.
Yes.
It looks great.
On that pole, that
Yep.
size, so that was the right move.
It was
Yeah.
worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And,
It's the right size.
Hopefully that lasts a long time, but whenever that needs to be changed, that's the way to go.
Yep.
That, for sure, I think.
And we leave it up because we have a light on it.
Right. It has a light so it can stay, which
Oh,
is
nice.
which is nice because that rope, I don't know, it's got I don't know if anybody's ever messed with it.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a fun thing to really mess with that
You gotta
rope.
go slow.
It's not smooth, so it just bunches up on you. And, It's doable, but anyway, we'll get back to the other things. So, Greg from HP Fairfield came by to take a look at those
good.
springs and things like that.
Uh-oh.
So, they don't make those setups that we have for the Dodges anymore. They're obsolete, and that's gonna be, there's a couple of springs in stock, and there's one that I'd really like to replace that they don't have. So he's gonna do some digging, and he's gonna try to come up with something that size and to get that going. But like I said, those wing arms and everything about those things are unmade anymore.
For which vehicle is this again?
The two Dodges,
The two
That have
the
Dodge.
plow setups for the Dodges.
Yeah.
So, it's, again, moving forward, everything's working. We've had a lot of work done, rebuilding the front plows and things like that, the bolts and the nuts and the pins and things like that. But the headgear, it's all different nowadays. They have a different setup that they're using. They go through Everest. And what we have is obsolete, which is what we're finding with a lot of things, unfortunately.
How old is the plowing gear for the?
One's 5 and 6 years old. You gotta figure the truck's in 18. We got it in 19. So that's been outfitted since 2019. The 2019 we got in 2020. That's been outfitted since then. So this is the 5th and 6th winter that these things have seen.
Yeah.
With pretty much no work until we started doing work last year into this year on those things.
So,
Yeah.
does a analysis have to be made is that it's not worth buying the springs versus a plow that's 5 years old instead of buying the whole plow?
Well, I think for the short money, the $500 or something a couple weeks ago that we allocated to buy these springs is worth it.
But we don't know what he's gonna come up with.
Yeah,
Well, right, I think most of them he's gonna come up with. It's just this one that they had the two big ones that I wanted, they had the two wing blocks that I wanted. It was just one wing arm, a smaller spring that they didn't have, that he's gonna try to look in. I mean,
Have you ever been over to McLean?
I was gonna say, my next move, if he can't get it, I'm gonna talk to Steve. Oh, I know Steve, yeah, McLean.
In Limerick?
Yes. Yeah, no, I
Did
know
you
him
see this
well.
place?
But you've been there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's a character. And
I got
he's,
the hat and everything.
and he's got everything. And that's my next thing after the Dodges. We talked a little bit about the front plow of the big truck, the 7400. And Greg over at HP, they don't have anything used. He said, what comes in used looks like that. He's like, so I'm not gonna sell you something that's comparable to what you have.
So we'll wait to see what Fairfield comes up with and go from there?
Right, so he's gonna price me out, he's gonna put me in touch with the salesman and price me out, say, a new plow, that would go on, and then, in the future, when we outfit a new truck, this new plow would go to that,
That's what I'm
you know?
thinking is that we're gonna keep getting Rams as far as I know, right?
Right. And that's even with the International. Right now, as far as with what we have for the Rams, I think if we could get these springs and tighten up what we have, as far as wing arms and things like that, if he's got a few extra parts, I mean, it'll be a discussion in the future maybe, because he's gonna do some digging and see what he has for these plows, to keep them going for another few years. The trucks are in good shape. I mean, you got 33,000 miles on one and 22,000 miles on the other. Now I know they're rugged miles, they're working hard, but I mean, those trucks do a great job. I mean, I like them. But, so that's where we are with some of the equipment there. The storms, we had one Friday night into Saturday, give or take 5 to 6 inches. Another one Sunday into Monday, again, 5 to 6 inches.
Really? I only measured 3.5.
Yesterday,
But I'm sure it was higher up toward.
well,
the bridge.
it was like 3 inches. I forget when it started now. Sunday night. I think I came in at midnight, and there was already 3 inches on
Yeah,
the ground.
yeah.
And then from then on, there was a couple of more to come into it. But yeah, it's different in spots. It's funny
Yeah.
like that. But I used approximately 6 yards of salt on both of them, and the one on Friday into Saturday, I used a little more sand, about 8 yards or so of sand, being the weekend, with the weekend warriors and the skiers and stuff like that. I kind of like to make things brown for the weekend, so they can get around and have traction. And knowing that yesterday we were going to get something last night, I didn't go and put too much down with the anticipation of having to come back last night to really hit it hard, which luckily the rain held off and it stayed snow and a little bit of freezing stuff. So,
yeah.
But that's what I got here.
And you've been pushing snow back.
Right, thank you. Yes, we've been out crowding the roads back and high winging with the grader and the big truck. And again, whenever we do that, the backhoe follows behind. It just takes a little longer. So your driveway gets loaded up. Give it 15, 20 minutes. He's gonna be back there, by there with the backhoe to scoop that snow out of the entrance. Just something we do. I like to give Jen a heads up because she gets some phone calls and she knows now how to answer those phone calls, which is great. So yeah, we're gonna continue to do that, do some high winging. Not to be the bearer of bad news, but when we walked in this morning and gave the grader the once over after high winging yesterday, the front pin that holds the plow together was up about 6 inches. And so we got it to go back down and then thought, well, wait a minute, why'd it come out in the first place? So we pulled it out. There's supposed to be a bolt in the bottom. Well, the bottom of that pin is sheared off.
Oh, wow.
So we got it out. Alan's taking a look at it to see if he could drill through. That's hardened steel. See if he could drill through that, if there's even enough room with the way it broke. It may not be enough room, so we may need another pin. So I did talk to Greg at Fairfield about that. They don't deal with Craig products, but I sent them some pictures of the plow and the numbers and the pin, and he's gonna take a look and see what he get. Again, might be a McLean thing.
Why not Chadwick?
Chadwick may be another one to go
Because that's
through.
where we got it from.
Right.
It came with the grader.
Right, yeah,
So they deal with
right. Yeah, he got us that
Craig.
wing arm there from Craig.
So did only partially the pin get sheared off, so the other part was stuck in the,
Just the bottom. It's like the bottom 2 inches got sheared right off. There's
that's
like
on
a
the road
concave in the pin from where the bolt, the top of where the bolt went, where the hole was.
Yeah.
So I mean, you wouldn't even. It's as clean as like you cut it with a laser.
Wow,
It's like perfect. It's hard to believe it'd come off like that.
maybe it was cracked.
Yeah, something. So
So I put a call into Chadwick
yes, I'll call.
just to see if they can come up with
Yeah,
one.
I'll call them as well.
but once you get the new pin, it's easily insertable? And,
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I thought it got, the old pin was jamming up the,
No, it just got sheared at the bottom, so there was nothing to stop it from coming out, which you'd never think something like that would work its way out. But it had worked. If that had ever come out while we were working it yesterday,
Yeah.
then the plow would have been as sloppy. It could have busted out the pistons and come unglued and really bent and torqued
Wow.
in all kinds of different ways.
Yeah.
So, luckily,
Yeah, that didn't
Tony's
happen.
trained me to do the once-overs,
Wow.
and he's got the eagle, the most Hawkeye eagle eye you could come up with. He doesn't miss a trick. So, yeah, we caught it before anything could have happened, and nothing happened yesterday before we caught it,
Jeez.
that type of thing. But yes, I will call Chadwick. But that's what I got on that.
I have a couple of things I'd like to discuss. So I've been thinking about how to plan for the road projects for this coming spring and summer and through the
Yeah.
fall. And I thought what I would do is, we haven't discussed it at all. I thought what I would do is ask you to think about which 3 roads you want to do first as far as grading with the grader.
Yeah.
Excuse me, not grading, ditching with the grader.
Right.
So if you could think about that and decide for next week
Okay.
which 3 roads you would want to do first. Because what I'd like to do is have a comfortable schedule that's not stressful but well planned out, where we can get the invoices into FEMA and possibly have it set up that we know what the DPW is going to do and look at what we could possibly do with contractors in other areas as the DPW is doing
Right.
their list of things in the order that they want to do them.
Right. So
So-
try to come up with something where what roads we want to do, maybe what roads we think we're going to be first of the contracting, and
Well, yeah, which roads lend themselves to want to be ditched by the grader, and which ones
Right.
really want an excavator
Okay.
with a knuckle on
Right.
there, with a ditching bucket
Yeah.
to do, that kind of thing.
yep.
But the easy part is not the whole, don't plan the whole village.
Right.
Just identify the first 3 that the DPW wants to do.
Okay.
And maybe a little explanation as to why, so that we understand.
Yep.
And can plan better based on what you're looking at.
Yep. Okay.
That makes sense to you
That
too?
makes sense, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they're hearing it for the first time now, so it's like, you have a week to think about that and discuss that with
homework.
your friends. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you have a printout of the sheet, because the sheet's very specific as to what parts of the roads. And I thought that might be a little tricky for you, and that's why I thought of doing it this way, is have you say which roads first. And then if you need drawings of where FEMA has the start and stop of the GPS coordinates on that road, so that we don't get caught of them. I don't know if they look at stuff afterwards, but we know we did the part that's in this, and we can even give you drawings of the maps of the roads that shows where the start and stop is of theirs. Not to say that we're not gonna ditch what
The
we
whole
wanna
thing.
ditch,
Right.
because we need to do it,
Right.
but cover what they
Right.
say they reimburse for, as we find out whether we are gonna get reimbursed. That's the trick to all this. So I'm coming up with a plan that works and is completely flexible based on a number of big things happening and not happening.
Right.
Like the first time we don't find out we're not gonna get reimbursed, everything
Yeah.
changes, right? Right?
Mm.
Second thing is, water hookups. I'd like to get better at the way water hookups happen in the village. First thing I'd like to avoid is having a contractor or a spec builder tell us that they're now being harmed because we're not doing a water hookup against their for sale schedule, which has happened a few times to other commissioners, and I want to get out of that business. But another thing that's happening is now it's becoming standard practice that the DPW is involved with every hookup, as long as Simply Water is doing the hookup. You're out there with the backhoe and at least a truck and probably 2 guys. And one of the things I think that we can try is the collection of data is a big problem for the village. It hasn't been done well at all, particularly when the ground's open. There's the opportunity to get pictures and measurements. Where is the pipe? What is the pipe? How deep is the pipe? Did it get backfilled with sand according to the AWWA standards? Was metal tape put down so that that fixture, that pipe, that valve can be easily located again? And then the triangulation of where is it in relationship to ground markers so it can be found again. And I think that if we have Jeff and another DPW employee at these scenes waiting for the opportunity to bring sand, to use the backhoe, just by the nature of it, there's a lot of idle time waiting for the opportunity to help the project.
Right, oh yeah.
That would be a good time for you to have a phone that can take pictures of what it looks like there. Imagine the last big one, which was at the corner of Little Shore.
Oh yeah.
How much information did we get written down, picture-wise, measurement-wise, out of that?
That I do not know.
So, this is the thing that,
Right.
to the point that I think that this becomes a standard part of the foreman's job and a standard part of how we divide how the foreman's payroll gets done. Right now, we're charging off individual jobs, but I can see time after the event with the water system is over, the water hookup or the water repair, that the foreman's job is an integral part of the data collection for the water system. We can't rely on third parties. We've proven that that doesn't work. So, this is the first time I've brought it up with all of you. That's an idea that we can discuss it again after everybody gets the crunch on it, but I'm throwing that out there as.
Okay, related, just so happens, I stopped in Verizon in North Conway yesterday.
Phones.
Right, and showed them our bill, and similar with Spectrum, they can't deal with us directly as a municipality.
They.
Verizon.
The Verizon
Verizon too?
retail store.
Oh, the
No,
store.
Verizon overall can, but not the
Oh.
Verizon retail store. So the guy just, looked at the bill and said, call that number and they'll get you set up. And he said what he's seen in the past is, you find out what plan, what phone you want, and they'll either send it to you or they'll send you an authorization where we can go into the retail and get it going. It looks like the phone that will meet the spec is the Samsung Galaxy A16 5G, very comparable to that phone I pointed out with Spectrum, 50 megapixel camera. Very.
Does that fold?
What's that?
Did it
No, it doesn't fold. I discussed this with
The
Jeff
picture.
the last
The
time.
picture looks like it has a.
Yes, because
And this looks like a hinge.
Right, those are the clips. It's hanging on the wall, but it's the normal size, basically a normal size smartphone. So you could just call the number at the bottom of the bill. Tell them we need new phones.
I gave you the contact name of the person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you reach out to them?
No. I'm wondering how's the best way to, should it come from me, should it come from you? I'll do it but if you just want me to research the plan and stuff. But the point is, when it comes to actually ordering,
That's what you
when we
were going to
agree,
do.
when we
This
agree
is
on
assigned to you
phone
to
and
look
plan,
at plans and to establish. Now it's being taken in a completely different direction.
Not yet. I don't know if you heard what she's saying.
no.
She's thinking you're doing it.
I can do it. It's just, I think at some point, I gotta hand it over to you,
Why?
because
They just need a mailing address.
that's all they need.
I don't see what else they would possibly need.
All right, I'll tell you what, I will call, I'll reach out, see how far I can take it. Okay?
Yeah, that's
Thank you.
what you were gonna do.
Right, but ultimately, once that's all done, the whole phone and all that,
No, the billing, I'll take care of the
Right.
billing.
She was just trying to save the village money and have you pay for all this. But you're gonna take it as far as you can, and
I'll take
then,
it as far as I can.
and then she'll
Yeah,
deal with
we'll
it
see.
on an ongoing basis
Right.
after that we get the phone. Yes, right?
No,
I just say because I don't have an official phone number for the municipality, I don't even have an official email.
You can give
All
them.
I have is a title which anybody can walk into any place and say, that's who I am. That's all. But I will take it as far as I can, don't worry, I'll do that.
Use your phone number for communications as you're getting it going, and then when it comes time to put it on what the official number for billing is, then you put it to the village's number.
Yep.
That's when,
right, because you guys need to
Right.
okay,
review the plan and the whole bit and,
we now have a plan for the plan, right?
All right, so next week I'll come back with what, because they're gonna have to put us on a new plan. They'll never just switch over your existing plan.
Now, what about Steve? Does he need a village phone?
yeah, Steve's, a new phone for Steve.
I would imagine
part of
Steve and
that
I,
whole
you know
plan,
what I
just
mean?
like
We're the
we
two
were
full-time
pursuing
employees,
this
that's how it always was.
with Spectrum.
Again,
Right.
it's up to you folks if you wanna change that.
know.
But, you know,
So,
Yeah,
the
two
two
phones.
full-time employees.
But
Yep.
we're gonna need to port your existing number over to a new phone and get a whole new number for Steve, because Jennifer told me she already believes the old number that whoever had the old phone, is been
It's
out of service for
inactive.
so long.
It
It's
is
Right.
inactive. You have
Yeah.
to ask them if it's still active or not.
Right,
see if you can get it.
right, yeah, see if they
If
can
not,
keep,
don't worry
see if
about
they
it.
can keep it as is, if not,
Okay.
then we'll go to a new number, it doesn't really
Okay.
matter.
Right, at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if my number stayed the same,
Right.
cause all the,
And it is,
all
and
the
yours is
vendors and
active,
stuff,
so
you
that's
know what I
not-
mean?
Yeah, no,
Right,
we
which
can
would be,
get
you
your
know,
number ported over.
Right.
You know, it doesn't really
The
matter, but I mean,
other
it-
number was
they all have my
inactive
number.
because it, you know, it belonged to someone that we.
Right, well, we
yeah,
all.
had no use
All
of
set on
that.
phones?
Mhm.
Nope.
Yep.
What else do we have? Anything else for Jeff? All set?
I'll get back at it. Thank you very much.
3 to 6 coming Thursday, starting in the afternoon.
Sweet.
Yeah. And then Saturday into Sunday.
Yeah,
Hopefully it'll be done before the game. I think I've missed
Oh,
the
I know,
last
I heard that.
3 to
Yeah,
5 Super
right.
Bowls the
Yeah.
last 5 years.
But there's no radio in the truck?
Well, yeah, this one will come in actually, yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
It just doesn't work the same.
No.
okay, 9:28, we'll go to scheduled appearances. We have none. Administrators report. Anything?
Mm-mm, no,
Did we ever hear about the call about a possible water problem on?
you were
Linda.
gonna reach out to the owner.
I sent an email, I haven't heard back yet, but we didn't hear anything either.
Yeah.
Old business tabled items. Signature items for Plotznick and Sanderson engagement letter. $11,650, increased by $575 from the 2023 audit. I'll make a motion to discuss and approve the engagement letter for $11,650.00.
Second,
Kills me to spend this much money for this.
Yeah.
uh-huh,
we're engaged with this group for at least one more year? Or is this the final year where we have to use them? Before we can go looking for another auditing firm?
Okay, so we had it in at 11 between the two budgets, the water budget and the,
I'm sorry. What are
Highway.
you talking about?
the audit.
Oh, the pricing on
Yeah,
that? On
yeah,
the-
we had it in at
Yeah.
11, so it needs to go to 11,650.
Yeah.
We anticipate commencing the audit on February 6th, 2025.
Yeah, but that date's already changed, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say, anybody gonna bet any?
I told
any
him
on
that
this?
that was
They're
not gonna
be
be
here in 2
possible.
days?
So there are additional days that he's provided.
Yeah, sometime in March or something.
He gave an early March date.
Yeah,
Which is close to the annual meeting.
Any idea what non-attest services are? Because it includes identifying Mark Graffam Commissioner to oversee non-attest work. Non-attest is one word.
It's very similar to what was signed last year.
I'll have to look that up after I sign it.
yeah. I was gonna say, they're pretty standard.
Non-attest services are services that are not related to an attest engagement, which is a type of engagement that requires independence. Non-attest services can include bookkeeping, financial statement preparation, and tax services.
We also provide non-attest services as detailed in the attached addendum for the Village District of Idlewild in conformity with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America based on information provided to you. These non-attest services do not include an audit under the government auditing and standards, such as services, and such services will not be conducted in accordance with governmental auditing standards. I can't see where the answer to your question is as to how long this letter is committing us to.
Well, it's nothing urgent now, but
Was
I remember
I don't think it
raising
does.
the question, can we seek out a new auditing firm? And somebody said we have to stick with this one.
Well,
for-
you did reach out to one, but they've long since retired.
another firm?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So this page isn't numbered and it was on top because
Because of that's the signature
okay, so you
page.
moved the last page to
I moved the last two
Gotcha.
pages
Gotcha.
up top, on top.
and his page is not numbered at all. So any further discussion and a motion to sign this then?
You want me to make
Unless
it?
you
No,
wanna,
Did I make it already?
For
No.
discussion.
No, I'll make a motion to
Yeah.
discuss and sign this. And did you second?
Second?
Any further discussion on this?
No, we gotta do
All
it.
in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This letter correctly sets forth the understanding of the Village District of Idlewild. There's a governance signature and a management signature. Both me?
no, I think Woody was the other signature on the one from last year, but I can't.
So, any idea who should be governance and who should be management?
No,
Okay, so I'll do governance.
Okay.
I know your name appeared first, so. I wasn't involved in this last year.
Right. Actually, if it, or,
Mm-hmm,
yeah. We were brand newbies.
yep,
2/4/2025.
yep.
so I'm taking the management role.
Gonna say it's up to you or I'll take it.
Yeah.
So on the note disclosure questionnaire, I completed most of it, but there are some items on this that I need assistance to answer. I don't know if you wanna take a stab at it now or wait.
We'll do it. How many questions do you have?
There's about 4 or 5.
We'll do it outside the public session.
Sure.
Okay, sounds good, because I'm still waiting for her
Yes.
treasurer's questionnaire as well, so.
Can I see it?
Yeah, of course. Again, the pages that,
They're all on this page?
no, they're on the following pages after. The ones that have the little mark on them are the ones that I need assistance
like
to
this
answer.
hash mark over there?
Correct, exactly.
Other long-term contracts, service organizations. Did any of the precinct funds have deficit fund balance at year end?
Which I
No.
don't believe
No.
this year we did. Last year you indicated you did for 2023.
This is for this
This is for 2024.
We
We
didn't
did
have
not.
it.
Did not for
No deficits.
2024.
So I'm checking no on that.
Okay.
Do we have uncompleted long-term construction contracts at the end of the fiscal year?
No.
That's NA. Service organizations, do any service organizations provide services to the precinct? Example, ambulance billing, payroll, IT services, so it's payroll
Payroll.
paychecks?
Mm-hmm.
What about Simply Water?
So we're almost finishing this anyway. So the public gets to hear
Yeah.
minutia of what we could deal with.
Yeah.
And Simply Water.
Are there any?
Simply Water is water. Doesn't affect taxes.
But they're talking about services.
Does it say about taxes?
Okay.
Just services?
Just
Yeah, it just,
talking
it
about
does
And
say
they-
just.
services that were
They
that are
audit the
billed on
water.
an ongoing basis.
They do
water.
audit
Yes, they
the
do.
water. Yep.
Yeah.
Please provide the precinct district's unique We didn't hear back from.
No, I mean, am I expected to hear back
I don't
or,
know. We sent them a letter, right?
yeah,
So we'll have to check on that. So
okay.
we need that
We need
answer for
that.
2
Yep.
reasons, right?
Same.
Oh, is that Sam
That
thing?
SAM number, which last year, there was nothing listed, it was just left blank. So, and they didn't
Oh.
question it, so
Hey,
And
Jane,
FEMA hasn't asked for it again either. But
you're gonna need it.
yeah, we don't want that to be the showstopper on a check.
Correct. Correct, especially if
And we
we're,
did have a SAM number, and it expired. That's what the government's website says, so.
Right.
We have attempted to renew it by sending the letter that they specified. Okay, so now at 9:38, we move to commissioners' reports. And I have communicated with Nick about the warrant articles, and if we need to do it at this meeting today, I have an idea of what we could put in as numbers for the warrant without hearing from him. Yesterday, I asked Jennifer to tell me if the house at the beginning of Bergdorf, where we might run the water line if the voters approve it, had a water connection. Because whatever I was looking at from maps had me thinking there was no water main running down that part of Bergdorf at all. But she confirmed that the very first house at the south end of Bergdorf, at the intersection of Aspen, does have a water connection, pays a water bill, which is
Okay.
good news for us. That means the water main comes to that house and dead ends. So the water main that we're proposing goes from that dead end at that house to the Habitat for Humanity house on the other
Okay.
side of the culvert. So I'll measure that before the annual meeting. And, and that's all I have to report. Do you have anything? You covered the phone.
Covered the phone, and then I sent the proposal for the outhouse structures.
Oh, yeah.
To go in a warrant article if we want to put that figure in.
Did you get a chance to read that?
Which
You're
one?
gonna have to tell me what figure you wanna go in.
All right, well, I've made copies for everybody.
So
there's-
are you guys planning to come to have like a non-public to finish up these warrant articles?
It won't be
before-
non-public.
Okay, well, whatever.
So,
You want a copy of that?
Is that the one we got?
Yep.
Yeah, I
Okay.
need a copy of it.
okay. So I asked this contractor to do a phase one, which is
Yeah.
strictly the handling of the existing tanks and filling them in and cementing them over. The bottom line was, he did some research, and basically, everyone says, you gotta clean those things out and pump them. So his idea was, if he cuts off the slab completely at the top, so now you just have a big box, but open top, he can get the trash out, any trash bags, cans, and stuff like that, he can clear it out. And then with the help of DPW, if they need to pump a little water in there to make whatever solid waste sludge, sewage, easy for a septic company to pump, then we could have a professional pumping company.
I thought that the
Company
septic
come in.
companies wouldn't.
That's because all the trash was in there,
Oh,
all right? I mean, there's a lot of big unknowns, but if there's a big hole on the top where now you can see clearly down what's in there, and all the trash is removed, then it should be a simple matter for a septic company to just run their lines down there and pump it out.
What's
Yeah.
removing the trash and where's it going?
The contractor would say that he's gonna put it in big construction bags and just go to the transfer station. It's just garbage, it's just trash, it just happens to be sitting in a nasty place. But it's just cans and garbage bags,
okay.
okay? Anyway, after that part is done, then he put crushed stone in, and then he says there's no need, he says from there, you pour concrete on top of that and bring it up to the level of where the slabs have been cut off. And that will create your new platform. He says you really don't need to raise it another 2 inches, because if you've got the tank entirely cleaned out to the bottom, then crushed stone, concrete on top of that, that'll create a very stable platform for the new outhouses.
So no sand.
He believes that crushed stone is the best way to go. And he discussed this all with Tony and Jeff, and I think they were on board with his plan. That sand was the idea if we could not pump those tanks
Right.
down to virtually nothing.
Right.
Then maybe we have to use sand if that was the case. But as I understand it, if you got the tanks all cleaned out, you do crushed stone to begin with, and then concrete on top of it.
Why?
Is that part of phase one or phase two?
It's all phase one. It's strictly
Okay.
phase one is nothing but to clean out the tanks and create a
seal
whole
it.
new solid concrete platform on which to put the new houses onto. So I can get answers to those, but anyway, just want to let you know that phase one, he's estimating at $5,400. Then on phase two, that's the actual, he believes that the old outhouses, it's actually more cost effective to just start from new. Build a
How
whole
many
new one.
outhouses are we
We're talking about two.
Two.
Okay.
These prices include 2 tanks in phase one, and 2 outhouses in phase two. And his idea was just just start from scratch. He can make them, the exterior look so it's sort of reminiscent of the existing ones. He's already looked at all the dimensions, went on the website for the porta potty company we use. So it'd be built so that it's easily, the company can easily put it in, bring it out, and still leave some room so that people could use it as a changing room in addition to a place to go into and use the porta potty. So it's all pretty well detailed out here. If you haven't read it, I recommend you read it and see what you think. But that, for the 2 outhouses, his estimated cost is $15,000. The one thing that doesn't include is the demolition of the existing outhouses, but that's where the DPW crew said they could do that. They could bring the backhoe in, demolish them, carry it away. So if we were to go ahead with this on a warrant article as an estimate here,
You'd present that as well?
right, it'd be, well, an estimate comes up to $20,400. We'd have to add some contingency in there.
And it's only
And
2.
If that seems like too big a nut to crack this year, maybe we just split that and we just do 1 outhouse this year and see how that goes.
I thought part of the whole reason of doing the reconstruction was to not replace the buildings.
Yeah, tear them down.
Correct.
Right.
But the point is that you'd have to tear them apart anyway because they're not big enough. You'd be pulling off the entire roof and having to build it up anyway, and then put ventilation in, and there may be other repairs or things about the existing outhouses that can't even be seen yet, that would just add to the cost. There's his opinion that it'd be more cost effective or cheaper to just start anew. If you don't think so, then,
This started to be just an aesthetic way to take the blue plastic outhouses out of
Yeah.
sight.
right,
Right.
Now you're up over $22,000.
yeah,
No way. This is not what we set out to do.
okay.
So, if we need to research whether it's true that we have to empty these tanks, that's a whole new starting point.
Mm.
And
Right.
it's not that important of a project to be done under these circumstances, that this has changed this radically on February 4th, when the budget hearing is
Yeah.
February 7th, that this can't wait. This isn't a critical project
No,
for
no, it
2000.
isn't, but it's an idea.
Right. It got some information together, so we have to decide if this is the direction. And I guess at this point, before committing to numbers like this, I'd want to hear from the state whether we're required to do it this way. Because I was basing it on the fact of what we did before,
Yeah.
Right.
with the tank from the A-frame being in
Right.
the same location.
Right.
Right.
So, before I told the taxpayers that they should raise this money, I'd want to know for certain that the direction that this is taking it in is required, which last week I wasn't believing that it was required.
Right.
Well, he did tell me the only information he could find is if you were a homeowner with a septic tank and wanted to decommission it and just fill it in, it is required to empty it completely. So whether that, because this is not true, these are not truly septic tanks, these are just tight tanks.
Right. That's to a leach field, the whole
Right,
setup.
right. So he couldn't find anything specific on that, but the research he did seemed to indicate it goes in that direction.
I guess this is sticker shock compared to where we started in these discussions.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if we were able to get the trash out and get it cleaned, we would start using them again. We could put
Right.
commodes back in it.
Right, I don't know why, that's the thought I had too, is that
Yeah, that was the
this
whole
path
point.
is like,
Yeah,
why
right.
rent porta potties?
Right.
I thought, no, I thought Tommy Gunn told us, remember, he does a lot of work for the state parks, that they don't allow those old
Those
sort of
types?
tight tank outhouses anymore. The state doesn't allow that anymore. That's what I thought I heard him say.
I don't remember that.
When was that?
He worked for the U.S. Forest Service, and I didn't hear him say they had to decommission existing ones. He was recommending the
Okay.
guy that pumps
Okay.
these things.
All right, so maybe you can use an existing one, but somewhere along the line, he indicated that you could not put in a brand-new system of the same sort of design that was acceptable 50 years ago.
Well, you probably can't,
Right.
but these exist.
Right.
And we're not putting them in new locations.
Right.
This is gonna take more time, and we don't have time.
Okay.
So it might take this right off the warrant for this
Right.
year, right?
Okay.
But we'll get to that.
Yeah, I don't want, this is too much money to do things in haste. So, thanks for working on it, though.
Okay.
It is some good info.
Okay.
You
Well,
know.
maybe I'm just gonna put it out here, but it's still too late now, is maybe if you can use an existing one, if there's no state, then maybe like the phase one makes sense. But what you'd, but then no, it doesn't make sense. Well, it does. I don't know what I'm talking about. If you can,
We're not gonna decide this
yeah,
today.
never mind. I'm
Yeah.
not thinking clearly here.
You need to take your time, everybody needs to take their time on this.
Yeah.
Nancy?
Okay. Want to go through the updated warrant draft and the budgets?
Okay, well, I didn't bring any of that because nobody
have a
told me
printout?
we're
I
gonna
think-
review it, so.
I think they have them.
What is the name of the file that you're using? Is it dated the 30th of,
Uh-huh.
so I have that on my computer. I have proposed budget and I have proposed warrant articles dated the 30th also.
Yes.
What are you starting with? The budget?
Because, well, what I'd like to do is go through the warrant as we have it proposed, see if there's gonna be some changes we wanna do for the budget hearing for Friday. That would, depending on Jen's schedule, I'm hoping tomorrow to be able to spend some time with Jen to turn it into the actual warrant, which will create the whatever the form is. It'll put it into the budget form because it populates itself.
For
so
the
that-
DRA.
For the DRA, so that we have everything ready. And then I thought we had said that we might be meeting Friday before the budget hearing, or if we wanted to change when that's gonna be, that we would finalize everything for Friday.
So we'll see how far we get today and decide whether we need to
Have
have a
another-
meeting before Friday night,
Yeah,
which would be
Well-
Thursday morning before the storm or Friday,
yeah.
not Friday, Thursday afternoon during the storm.
So the first thing is for the road improvements for Article 2.
You're gonna
Um,
do warrant articles first or budget
Yeah.
first? Warrant articles.
When we get into the DRA portal to put this together, it will tell us whether or not that needs to be first. So my first question is, do the commissioners want to see Article 2, if we can, follow after the gravel article, which is currently Article 10? Because they go together.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They go together, so it makes sense to me that we would want them next to each other on the warrant,
If we can.
if we can.
Okay.
I don't think it matters,
Okay?
because if Article
Okay.
2 is the first one,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a lengthy explanation that extends not only into Article 10, but into the actual budget too, because that's linked together with this whole thing.
Right,
So it's one big story that gets told a couple of times as we get from Article 2, road improvements, then a little bit it gets said again when we get to operations budget in Article 3, and then again in Article 5, roads and ditches.
right.
So I think that if it's gonna accept, it's only the,
We certainly can put it first.
now I'm gonna
That will
say,
always be an option.
right, it's not gonna reject seeing it Article.
Correct.
So make it,
Just leave it.
my vote would be that it's, leave that Article 2
Okay,
and just leave it the structure that you already have.
Okay.
all right, I agree with that.
You have a comment on that? What up? No?
No.
We also with that then?
Okay. So the operations budget, we're gonna have to increase that number because the audit is gonna be the 11,650, and we currently have it at 11,000, so that's gonna be an increase for that.
And I think we want to increase the line item for the road chemicals, calcium chloride, it may become magnesium chloride, and I'd like to bump that number up.
Okay,
By how much?
And where are you seeing it? Where
not-
on the budget is it?
I'd have to bring the budget up before I tell you that. I'm opening the budget 13025.
and just so you know, I'm gonna add $600 to the audit line. Yeah, it's 700 and, it's 575, so we're just gonna round it. Just letting them know. So there's another line you wanna add?
So would the
You're looking for dust
magnesium
control,
chloride go under treatment?
goes
Or
under
what?
dust control, other.
What does?
What Mark's talking about?
Excel line 63, the spreadsheet line 50, no, excuse me, 62, the spreadsheet line 50, dust control / other.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's it.
2024 was $6,100, and we only spent 48.9 because we didn't use any, we didn't put the gravel down because we didn't have the grader.
right.
And so that,
We have it listed at 10. You wanna go higher than the 10?
yes,
Okay,
not to say this is the flexibility we're building into everything, not to say we would only use this if we got the reimbursements in a timely fashion from FEMA in New Hampshire. So,
so what's your proposed number?
14.
14?
Mm-hmm.
Cause that'll let us have a second fill-up
Yep,
or an additional fill-up?
I don't know the price of the magnesium yet, and I wanna talk to some people about that. What gets me is that we have a mixer that we're not using. And we are now buying it in liquid form, which means we're paying somebody who takes bags of magnesium or calcium and puts it into a water tank and mixes it.
And then we get it.
Then we get it delivered in a liquid form,
Yeah,
where we have a tank, which I believe is 300 gallons, that was part of the water system that we're not using anymore, that has a big propeller mixer on it.
interesting.
And I'd like to know what those numbers are.
Or if it's even feasible to be
Whether
able to use that equipment?
Not in the location that it's in, we might have to
Right.
move the location. We're not bringing magnesium or calcium chloride into the
Right,
corrosion control facility, like somebody else did.
Yeah.
visit.
yes,
But this is just a tank sitting there with a
There's
mixer?
a tank sitting there
Yep.
with a big motor and a big shaft and a propeller that mixes this,
Wow.
because we used to mix sodium bicarb.
yep,
Jude used to do it.
yep,
And It's the same thing. Now, it's a matter of the physical thing of pouring bags of magnesium chloride into a tank. Because I made a screen that took made it into a fine particle before it went into the water, and then this propeller just swirls this tank around.
But that mixing tank used to be used for the water system.
We
Now
have
you
to
wanna-
take it out of there and find a location for it. And can we
could never-
cost justify it into, can we have our highway guys do it, or is it just not worth it, that it's easier to buy this stuff?
Okay.
And then it's a matter of, are we getting a mixture that is proper for the dollars we're paying? Because how do we know? We could be putting water down.
Yeah.
That's my Boston street sense. I want to see it being mixed. So, anyway, that's a story all about a budget going to 1,400 there, if you guys agree with that.
14,000.
14,000.
And you're
14,000.
calling it calcium, what is it?
Dust
It's
control
dust
slash
control
other.
/ other.
Right, but this is for the part of a purchase of the calcium chloride?
Or it could be we get magnesium chloride.
Okay,
In any event, it's the flexibility to purchase more if needed.
That's right.
Right.
I could tell you, the DPW guy told me they watched the meeting where I said we're gonna use a lot more dust control and putting new gravel down, and he said he was excited by that. What a difference it's gonna make. It's gonna keep the cost of purchasing gravel down in years to come, because it doesn't disappear anywhere near as quickly.
Okay. So we're adding 4,000 there.
mm-hmm,
So right now, we're starting with a line item of 20,000 in gravel, and we're explaining that we're asking for the okay to have an option to go get a loan for an additional 50,000 to purchase gravel if the FEMA money is flowing in by that time that decision has to be made. Should we leave this line item at 20 for gravel?
what was it last year?
Last year, we only used 7. It was 20, the budget was for 20, we only
Oh, it
used
was.
7 because
Yeah.
we didn't have the grader to put the
Correct.
gravel down. We were expecting it back any week all summer, which is why we didn't take another approach to this.
Mhm.
Right.
Now, one of the things we're saying is, there's a warrant article to allow us to access 13 out of the unassigned fund balance, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that covers that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that,
That
I
was the-
Yeah, I don't wanna-
remember you guys
I think
talked
this
about
budget
that
number's
last-
okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I do too.
Okay,
And the loans and stuff are whatever they are, you know,
Yeah.
we don't get to change a whole lot of that once it already happens.
Article 5, to see if the village will vote to raise or appropriate the sum of $6,000 for creating ditch or repair existing ditches, including ledge. That, Article 5 is ledge.
Ledge removal, including ledge removal as needed.
And then Article 10 is the gravel one that you were already pointing
Uh-huh.
at for 13, yes.
Okay, so then on Article 6, well, anybody have anything on Article 5?
We'll get back to it.
what do you mean, a number?
Yeah, anything
Oh.
that they want to change?
Oh,
No.
Okay. If we look at 6, the Grissom Road, it's engineering. Do we wanna?
Put a number in there?
Yeah,
I'd say 10.
okay, I was thinking 15, so we're thinking in the same realm.
I'll go 15. I only went to 10 because I have this belief that he's gonna start with the engineering he already did for the box culvert and just modify that into the metal culvert, arched metal culvert.
Okay,
But 15 is
safe.
safer. Do you have an opinion on that, Woody?
No, because I have no experience in this, but I agree, he's gonna have to, there's a lot of existing data out there, that, you know, it's not gonna be recreating the wheel,
Oh.
so it shouldn't be.
If you want to get an idea, one thing that you had a front row seat for was the Como PRV
Mhm.
required a survey.
Yep,
He is doing the design, and that has cost us,
25,
that's the budget,
yeah.
right.
of which we have, I believe, figured that it was,
Didn't he already spend 16,000 on that? But I'm trying.
I think there was
Yeah,
16,000
but
left.
Yeah.
there was an
16,000 left.
additional bill, so you only calculated one bill that we got. So there was a second bill that came in, it's on this manifest.
Right,
But for the amount of work that you saw get done, it's not approaching 25 yet.
Correct.
No, it's not.
In fact, I don't even think it was approaching half that.
Right. Which gets you down to the 10 and 15
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
area. That's what we're doing.
Yeah,
I'm
Okay.
adjusting my old knowledge upward for everything because prices of everything
Everything is
today are
gone.
not what they were in 2012, last time I did all this.
nope.
Nope, they certainly are not. All right, so 15.
that was number 6, right?
Yep,
Yep.
Let's do number 7 for a number. IT services.
is that her?
I've got a copy of that.
Yeah,
somewhere.
Libby,
Here we go.
Libby came highly recommended,
Yeah.
So,
from Porter, yeah.
this is really just for the
This is the
first year, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so, um, so if we started right away in March, I think that the monthly services was, if I recall, I'll redo it, $395 times, let's just do 7 plus 940, so we're looking at about $3,705 to get this going. Let me just recheck the monthly. Yep, $395 monthly. I'm gonna say, probably should make that 8 months. So that's 3,160 plus the 940 to begin, which $4,100.
That's your budget?
Yeah, I'm probably being a little bit generous there, because
Okay, so what's your number?
4,100.
So 4,100.
Probably that first number I quoted, because I probably double counted 1 month there, but better safe than sorry.
That's
Mhm.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay,
You okay with that?
yep. 4,100 works for me.
Very good, thank you, Woody.
Okay, Article 8 is the copy of scanner, and that has a number of 888 in it.
Is that installed yet?
Mm-hmm.
How is it?
It's a beautiful thing.
Uh-huh.
Oh, good.
Merry Christmas.
So, Article 9 is the one we have listed as the outhouses
Wait,
and...
can we go back to Article 8?
Sure.
888, where are we getting that figure from? We have-
Yeah, so any numbers you see in there will have to be validated, because I think this is,
So
this
is
is what
it,
Nancy and I.
that's
isn't
what-
this
that's what
like a
Nancy-
$74 a month plus the cost of 8 cents for black and white copies and
Right.
12 cents for color copies? So does this 888 have copying costs in there, or do we not want copying costs?
I think what I know what it is. Remember, we agreed that we would just take the monthly lease for the unit itself, and then we talked about that the
Office supply?
office supplies would do the, out of the operating budget.
Right.
Take care of the rest.
Would
Okay.
pay for the
okay. Then
So
now
we have
I-
actual copies.
Yep, okay, I'm good.
Do we want to... Is that the appropriate number?
What was the monthly lease on that again?
I don't
70.
have anything here, because
From memory,
discussing anything.
I think it was $74 a month.
Yes, approximately, yeah.
Which is 888. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, Nancy
There
and
are a
I,
couple of sign ups still
Yeah.
flying.
I was looking at this morning and said, should I bring that along, that paper I had? I said, nah, we discussed this already. I should. Anyway.
So we're happy with Article 8,
Okay,
and we go to Article 9,
We're scrubbing this one.
now,
taking Article 9 off.
taking it off? Yes? Okay. That one goes away.
okay, so no more number 9. Well,
The only thought I had is, do we want a budget to pay Nick to look into this? As far as what's required of us? Oh, we can do that, we don't need this.
We can do that.
So
Yeah.
all these numbers are gonna slide now from,
Correct.
Article 9 is gonna be the gravel article, oh, okay.
yep,
Yep.
We're okay with
Right, right
that?
now, we're gonna leave the numbers as they are because that's what they say on the paper and we'll follow them.
yep, yep.
If we take Article 9 off the warrant,
Yes,
then the numbers can't stay the same. We
the
talking-
numbers will change, but as we discuss them right now, we
Oh, as
might
we
as
look
well
at it,
keep
okay.
the numbers as
Right.
is.
Right,
Because
so-
otherwise we'll confuse ourselves.
We're happy with Article 10 as it is for 13,000 for
Yes.
additional gravel.
Right.
Article 11, water line from Burn to Bergdorf. I have a number in my head of $3,000 for that. Engineering.
$3,000?
I don't see this being full-blown cross-sections of road drawings, that this is just a bid package that's mostly text saying how many isolation valves go in on Bergdorf
And at what?
and then 2
Yeah.
on Grissom. So that's my placeholder, is $3,000 for that. And if I get a hold of Nick and talk to him between now and the meeting itself, we can adjust it on the floor too.
Yeah, well, we can adjust all these numbers when we finalize things,
For
getting
the
towards
annual
the annual meeting.
Before,
Yes, after the budget hearing,
but before the.
but before the,
Right,
What I'm saying, for the discussion at the budget hearing,
uh-huh,
I might modify this number if he tells me something different.
oh yeah,
But I say, put 3,000 in for our purposes right now.
okay.
3,000 is okay,
You okay with 3,000?
Yeah. Mhm.
okay?
We'll move to Article 12 on this paper.
Yep,
Engineering and permitting for placement of a second well in the wellhead area. Want to hear my number?
sure.
25.
We have the same number.
It's amazing.
And that's a
Okay.
conservative number.
Uh-huh.
Depends upon what we define as the engineering and permitting, but it's a placeholder that's healthy.
So what was that amount again?
25,000.
Thank you.
Would say Woodham McNiven.
Yeah, that sounds right to me, although you said we're still waiting to hear back from Nick if he
We're
gets more
swagging right
defined.
now.
We're
and
swagging?
I will
Okay.
talk to him about these and confirm our swag is okay.
Okay.
Right. Right, and if he can't confirm anything for Friday, then we will still change them between here and the annual meeting, or be prepared to change them on the floor at the annual meeting.
Gotcha.
Right.
Whichever way it works.
I see.
Okay, gotcha.
And that's the warrant.
And
And
that's
the
all,
bud- and
that's
the
all of
budget?
them, right?
Yeah, and,
We did some modifications to the operating budget.
yeah,
Any modification to the water fund?
There will be a small change because the water also pays for the audit
Yeah, percentage.
percentage.
We'll get that,
but you said you added 600 to the proposed operating budget just for the audits.
Yeah,
She said 700.
Okay, but I'm just looking at the operating budget, so. And then we also added an additional 4,000 for dust control.
yep. So what's your new number?
So we were at 781,562. That puts us up to 786,162. 86,162. I mean, this is obviously this needs to be borne out by when it goes into the spreadsheet, but for now it's close enough for government work.
So the budget's going up a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but we have some major projects in this.
Yes. Yes, and like I said, the water will go up a small amount, like a couple $100.
Did Jeff say that he had a printout of the FEMA road projects?
He didn't.
He didn't.
You did.
So, I don't know if he wants multiple copies of that out of your new printer.
I'm not even sure where it is, so,
It's in an email. I'll send it again if you want.
yeah. Is that the same listing you're gonna want at the budget hearing as well? Okay, so, yeah,
I'm wondering whether people really need their own copy at the hearing of the FEMA, or can they pass it around and get an idea of the scope of what we're talking about by seeing it?
well, you're wanting Jeff to choose out of this listing?
Yep.
Okay,
But that's independent of the budget hearing.
yeah,
right?
gotcha.
I don't think everybody needs a whole list.
I don't see why it wouldn't, you'd have to talk about each road and what each road is, that's kind of a lot.
Too much detail,
Yeah,
but one way or the other, they have to see the size of what we're talking about. So maybe
Right.
I can describe that at the hearing.
Yeah,
If anybody wants to look at it here, here's a copy.
okay,
right.
Yeah,
gotcha.
that's what we'll do.
All right,
And we can certainly put the list in with the packet when we put the packet together for the annual meeting.
I'll have a summary description of what that multi-page road listing with all the GPS coordinates on it
Yeah.
and the amount of gravel and
yeah,
Yeah,
Dazzle
I mean,
with
it's
it.
very detailed.
all set.
that was what I wanted to get done.
Very good. So at 10:19, we'll see that there's no correspondence, and there's no public appearances, and there's no public comments on non-agenda items. And we're not gonna have a non-public session. And the
Nope.
next meeting is Friday, February 7th, in this room at 6 PM for the budget hearing. Do we want to have a commissioners meeting before? We said we were gonna decide whether we needed one or not.
Well, I think you should, because
I-
you're depending on me to have the proper everything together.
Yeah,
I've never
I
done
think,
this
I think we should
before.
have a quick, just.
It's okay, we'll be doing
re-review
it, we'll be
everything.
doing it tomorrow.
All right. Fine.
You too?
Yeah,
So you're saying we don't need a commissioners meeting?
no, I think we should review it.
When do you want to do that? Do you want to have your meeting with Jennifer separate from all of us being there?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, yeah, because it's, yeah.
You want to have that first, or does it matter?
Wanna do
We'll
that
do it
first?
first.
Yeah, they
You
need
two
to get
first.
together
Yeah,
first
I agree.
to smooth everything.
And you know when that's happening, tomorrow? right?
Tomorrow, anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime.
When do you think we should all get together then?
Well,
Thursday or
Thursdays-
Friday.
Thursdays, then you'll have to do it Thursday morning.
Yep.
I can do Thursday morning.
Thursday
All right,
morning?
Great.
Why don't you say the time, Nancy? Before Witta says the time.
9.
9?
What time's the storm be scheduled to begin?
Around 1,
Okay,
12:31, unless it changes, could change.
Yep,
all right. So let's just say 9.
9
Okay,
o'clock on
great.
Thursday.
So this is, and that's to finalize warrant
Okay,
articles.
So we're gonna,
and just food for thought here, you know me, I love to do the numbers and all this stuff. The budget we're proposing for 2025 is only right now standing at a 1% increase over the budget that was approved for 2024.
Perfect.
Not what was actually spent, but what was approved.
That's a good point.
And we know that inflation has been running way higher.
Well,
and we're not the type of board that spends every penny before we lose it. We return money to the coffers that's not used and could decide to use it to offset taxes in the fall,
Yes,
right? Which we used to do.
yes.
So the motion is going to be to recess this meeting until Thursday at 9.
Okay,
okay,
Okay?
second.
Aye.
Aye.
3-0 on recessing this meeting till 9 o'clock
Yep.
at the office meeting, and that'll be
Yeah.
open to the public.
Yes.
Thank you, Carol. 10:20.